Jai, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Sunday Feast program. My name is Krishna Dulal Das, and I am one of your MCs for this evening. I'd like to welcome you all. This is the residence of our beloved Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, 212 Somerset Street East, Sandy Hill in Ottawa. And what we just witnessed right now is we had a nice arti ceremony offering different paraphernalia to the Lord, accompanied by hymns and symbols. Actually, there's a passage in the Bible that says that thou should, in this age, thou should praise the Lord with hymns and cymbals. So you see, even the Bible said so, that kirtan is the way, right, in this age, to greet the Lord, to communicate, to pray. It's a way of prayer. And so now that we finished doing this, the next on our program is we have a guest speaker or a speaker for this Sunday, and then following that we will have some more kirtan, and then we will conclude our program. So welcome to perhaps some of our guests here who are here for the first time. I'm seeing a couple of new names on here, so welcome to you, and to all of our other devotees who are here again. Nice to see all the names and faces. And I will pass it over to Mother Yeshika to introduce our guests.
Hare Krishna. Once again, everyone, welcome to our Sunday Feast program. Today, we're very fortunate to have our guest speaker. Her name is Her Grace Isvari Keshavi Mataji. She was born and raised in Mississauga in Ontario, and first met devotees in Toronto in a meetup group setting where there was yoga, kirtan, cooking classes, and discussions. And this is kind of a loft-style preaching model that's actually practiced in New Zealand. And shortly after, she was recommended to go live in the women's ashram in New Zealand, which turned out to be a great life-changing experience. Every day participating in early morning programs, chanting her 16 rounds, and contributing to the many services there. And she stayed there for about 6 years. And her initiation she took in 2013 from His Holiness Devamrit Swami Maharaj, and then returned to Canada in 2018. And she's also very significantly contributed to growing and establishing the Bhakta Prahlad Montessori School in Russell. And having earned an early childhood education diploma specific to Montessori in 2020, she is now also a lead teacher at the school. Also, she has a passion for yoga in all forms, and she's begun her certification in yoga teaching training. And we ask that while you're listening, if you could please maybe try and mark down either one point that resonated with you or any appreciation from the talk. That would be great, because at the end, we'll have 15 minutes for any reflections or questions, and it would be really nice if everyone could share some of their thoughts. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Her Grace Isvari Keshavi Mataji. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for attending this Sunday Feast program. And I'd like to thank Yashika for such a kind and warm introduction. So today I was thinking to talk about opulence. What is opulence? It's a very attractive word when you hear it. And what it means to have opulence. So one definition I found on the internet of opulence is great wealth or luxuriousness. And some other synonyms for opulence are riches, prosperity, money, magnificence, grandeur, just to name a few. In the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, one of the prime ancient texts, it describes the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna, as the supreme person or Bhagavan. And this name, Bhagavan, has many meanings, but one I'd like to share today means one who is worshipable. And if we look in today's world, we can see that people are naturally inclined to give praise or to look up at someone who has any type of talent, which is also considered an opulence. Some examples. Many sportsmen are worshipped for their performance, for their stamina. Sports is a big industry in our society, and anyone who is a leading man in the sports world or a leading woman is worshipped by the masses, recognized for their talent, a certain type of opulence. Actors are also worshipped for their ability to convey emotion and storytell. Musicians are looked up to and worshipped. Practically speaking, they are normally positioned on top of a stage, and those below are so full of emotion, overwhelming emotion, that people start to cry when they see their favorite musician. So it's a natural occurrence in us, the living entities, to have feelings of adoration for the other. Back to the meaning of Bhagavan. Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Person, the creator and the maintainer of the entire universe, is said to possess 6 opulences. And these are wealth, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation or detachment. And Krishna possesses these 6 opulences in full capacity. We, the living entity, we also possess these opulences, but in a limited degree. And this is one of the main differences between the Lord, Krishna, and us, the living entities. Krishna is the supreme, unlimited controller, and we are limited in our endeavors, and we are never fully in control of anything. Krishna is the master of the senses, and we, or at least I, struggle to master my senses and keep them in control. Krishna is unaffected and completely independent of the dealings of this world. And we are fully dependent on our circumstance, on each other. We are always in a state of dependence, and we are constantly being affected by our reality. So I pose a question. In our limited experience in this world, how much wealth can we actually attain? Wealth, the opulence of wealth. Maybe millions, billions, trillions, possibly. And also, how much endeavor do we put into trying to attain wealth? You know, in our society, what's being glorified is, you know, to be a workhorse, you know, to go, 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 push, push, push. You know, attain as much as you can, conquer. And this attitude, it actually causes some people to push themselves right to the edge, you know, trying to make attaining financial stability their main goal of life. And in this way, by pushing so hard, some people actually completely miss out on life, and to such a degree actually harm their health, causing illness, just to attain this opulence of wealth, the hard struggle to achieve and have more and expand. For Krishna, this is naturally his position. He has unlimited wealth, and with no such effort as we, the living entities, have to put forth. So that's wealth. Another opulence of Krishna is power. And I pose another question: who holds the power in today's society? Is it the government? Is it the people? We can see very clearly, you know, what's happening, this massive fight for power between countries, within countries, between each other. There's this power struggle, and this need or desire for power has actually been the cause of war, or been the cause to turn people against each other as enemies, to the point where they are constantly trying to fight to take back the power. And this mood of fighting for power causes a lot of harm and destruction in our world. And unfortunately, power within the hands of a conditioned living entity causes a very dark reality. But for Krishna, it's different. He never has to fight to gain or reclaim a position of power, because he is always in control. He is always in a position of dominance. And when Krishna is in control, then everything can be carried out in a harmonious way for everyone. Another one of Krishna's opulences is fame. It's a very interesting one, fame. We can all acknowledge that every person has some unique quality or talent. And for some, it's easily seen. And this could cause a person to desire recognition and desire glorification and desire to be worshipped by others. And in such a mood, one could start to arrange their life solely to make themselves the center of attention. And by doing this, one fails to actually give attention to the things in life that truly matter, like giving attention to your relationships, especially the relationship with the self, which is the most important relationship we have, is the one with ourselves. Another opulence that Krishna has in full is beauty. And what does it mean to be beautiful in this world? Everyone is striving to meet the standards of beauty, which are constantly changing. Every year, it's a different look, it's a different style. People are putting their bodies through torture to look a certain way. People are spending all their wealth that they work so hard to achieve, to buy things, to achieve a certain look, or to be recognized as beautiful. When Krishna, the beauty of Krishna is inconceivable. It's said that he's so effulgent. He is as effulgent as 10,000 moons and suns. It's so attractive, the thought of witnessing Krishna's beauty. And that just is him. He is the most attractive person. And that for us is something that people strive to attain, striving to be recognized as worthy of worship or worthy of praise. These opulences that Krishna has naturally are things that we all desire for ourselves in this material world. Knowledge. Krishna is the supreme knowledgeable. And there are people in this world who tirelessly study, wanting to know everything about every topic. They want to be the most knowledgeable person. I think in our current situation with this pandemic, there are many people doing lots of research, trying to know the ins and the outs of the pandemic and the virus. Is it real? Is it not real? The vaccines, what's in the vaccines? You know, what could be the effects? You know, people are constantly doing research to know. We have a need to know. Knowing for us in the material world gives us a sense of safety and security if we know. But we can't truly know everything for sure. It is just not possible. And in this material world, it's a gamble to try and claim that you are the knower of all. It actually puts one in a very precarious situation if they make statements to know what is real. Krishna knows past, present, and future. Krishna, everything is working according to Krishna's plan. So he already knows what's going to happen with everything, with the world situation, what's going to happen with this global pandemic we are facing. And the last opulence that Krishna possesses in full is renunciation or detachment. And this is a very interesting one, that although the Supreme Person, Krishna, is full of everything and everything, at the same time, he can be detached of everything, from everything. And there are persons in this world who aspire to such a level of detachment and renunciation. Sometimes it's questionable if it's a general, genuine desire to want to renounce everything. Is that really possible for us to do in this life? That's a question. But these opulences that Krishna has are things that, because we have in a very limited degree, we strive to gain more of. And a person in materialistic consciousness will endeavor to invent many, many different ways to try to become satisfied in this world by chasing opulence. But going about it in such a way where they do not know truly what opulence is or what it means to have opulence. And in this way, their endeavors are unsuccessful, leaving them in a feeling of moroseness and becoming disheartened, which can be a cause of degradation. In this material world, it's actually very rare to find someone who is unattached to attaining material opulence. It seems like that's what we're here to do, is to take and attain as much as possible. So let's think, what is opulence? For a person in Krishna consciousness, if one can simply think of Krishna, simply fix their mind on Krishna, and learn to see Krishna as Paramatma, as the super soul, everywhere, within all things, even within the atom, then one can actually perfect his life and perfect his stay, his time in this world. And this is where a person can be in this world, navigating in this world, but not of this world, which is a very interesting idea, that one can live in the material world, executing their material duties, but actually be completely in a higher state of consciousness. And a person in Krishna consciousness does not see actually this physical world with material eyes. They see the presence of Krishna everywhere, in all things. And they consciously choose to act in such a way where they are able to use everything they have, no matter how limited or great, their capacity, to actually please and serve and glorify the Lord. And this is actually how one can become opulent, by connecting their mind, their body, their soul, by connecting their consciousness to the supreme opulent person. There's a saintly personality who is described in the Vedic ancient texts like Srimad Bhagavatam, and his name is Maharaj Ambarish. And he was actually famous for being the one who gave himself entirely, gave everything to the Lord. And for doing this, for giving everything to the Lord, he had a very opulent life. How did he attain this opulent life? He engaged all of his senses in Krishna's service. He engaged his mind in thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord. He would engage his words in speaking about the glories of the Lord to others. He would engage his legs in walking to the temple or walking to sacred holy places where the Lord was present, displaying his pastimes. He would engage his sense of smell in smelling the fragrant tulsi leaf offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. He would engage his sense of touch by touching the devotees, embracing the devotees, the friends of Krishna. He would engage his head in bowing down to the lotus feet of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. He would engage his eyes in seeing the form of Krishna. And he would ultimately engage everything he had in the service of the Lord, engaging his mind 24/7 and aligning his desires to serve the Lord. So indeed, he had no other desire to gain separately, to gratify his senses. He was constantly absorbed 24/7 in the devotional service of the Lord, which is the way the Krishna conscious person, the bhakti practitioner, connects to the Lord. This is how we engage in a relationship with him. And ultimately, opulence is given to us by Krishna. And the truth of the matter is that it can be taken away at any moment, which helps us understand the temporary nature of this material world. And if we can consider the fact that material opulence is a struggle to attain and maintain, it might help us push, or give us a push in a direction to possibly want to try for something else, something better. So hopefully, reflecting on our dealings and our situations in this material world, it will help us see that actually it's not so, nothing is permanent. We are not in control. The struggle for material existence is hard, and the payback is very small. So with all of that being said, I would like to leave us with an experiment that we could trial throughout our week. And that is to really try in every moment of our day to connect to Krishna. Try to see Krishna's opulences in our life. Try to align our mind and our desires to please Krishna. And in this way, see if we can actually feel the richness, the real opulence of what life actually has to offer. This being in this material world is a chance for the conditioned soul to go back home, to return to being with Krishna in our loving relationship. So we can actually use everything we have in this world to serve him, to ultimately reunite with him and live in full opulence. So I'll end here, and I'd like to engage in a discussion with you all. If you have any questions or comments or reflections or additions or subtractions, I'd be happy to hear them. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mother Isvari Keshavi, for speaking about opulence and giving us the key to real opulence through in Krishna consciousness. This is very nice. So, dear devotees, as per the request, perhaps if you have something that you would like to share, or you have some questions, perhaps we could start maybe with questions first. You could maybe raise your hand. We have the reactions button at the bottom of our Zoom screen, so you can just click on that and then raise the hand feature, and we would love to hear from you.
Hare Krishna. Today I can't seem to find the raise hand feature. So I was going to the reactions, but it was only a thumbs up or a clapping. So I just kind of
we have a live reaction. This is good too.
I was getting a little bit nervous there. So maybe somebody else is also having the same troubles. Thank you very much, as always. And I was just thinking of a few different things, but maybe I'll start with kind of my first thought and my end conclusion, and then if other people say something again, maybe I'll jump in. So I was just, the one point at the beginning that I really liked was when you were saying a type of opulence is also, it can be a talent. And I never fully thought of that, but it's true, this gratitude of talents, different things that we have, and how so much emotion can come from when somebody is very talented, like a musician, you know, people are overwhelmed and it invokes this feeling. So that was a nice way to see Krishna in people around us, and that he gives us his talent. And then again, so simple, but just this reminder from hearing that, wow, you know, we have to engage all of our senses in the service of the Lord. So when I start feeling quote unquote crazy, Raja, you know, I really have to engage some of my senses in the service, and therefore my mind will be controlled because it gets out of whack and I don't have an ability without actually just doing some practical service. So that was a really nice reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Raja. Very nice point. And even the practical application you were giving yourself for when the mind gets crazy, it's a signal that I need to engage my senses. And actually by plugging into Krishna's world, that is what will help us to control the mind and senses. Thank you. I see Rupal, yes? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for your blessings and your words. They were really enlightening. One thing which I wanted to ask was that you mentioned that we should engage in thinking about Krishna or being engaged with Krishna 24/7. But being in a grahast life, like I'm just trying to think that how practical this is to follow it, because even if we are awake for 14 hours in a day, and out of those 14 hours we have 5 hours for ourselves to be trying to engage with Krishna, maybe our family starts complaining that the family is disconnected when everyone is not at the same level of engaging with Krishna. And it is not practical to be going into a sannyas life, and we still have to be in the grahast life. So I just need some direction that what are your thoughts around if someone is facing with this dilemma?
Thank you for your question. And many things are coming to my mind. But I think one of the most practical ways to stay absorbed in Krishna 24/7 is to always remember what we're doing and who we're doing it for. So in the context of the Grihastha ashram, where there are many duties and you have children, and taking care of the children, daily, you might feel like, oh, I'm not having the time to think of Krishna, directly, or do some, direct, quote unquote, service to Krishna. How will I be able to, right, stay connected? But if you think of the reason why you have your Grihastha ashram and your children, seeing them as devotees, seeing your duty as one of the most important duties, raising your children in a Krishna conscious environment and raising them to know about Krishna, then that is, one form of staying absorbed 24/7. It's actually devotional service. There are practical ways to perform devotional service, but devotional service is all a consciousness, a mentality. And even when we're at work, let's say, you work at a computer all day and you might feel, oh, this is not Krishna conscious, or I'm not engaging my mind in Krishna conscious. If we can take a step back to always think, why am I doing this? Why do I have this job? To maintain myself, to maintain my family, so that we can grow in our Krishna consciousness, steadily. So my answer is that if we can just remember what we're doing and why we're doing it, like who are we doing it for, whatever we're doing. If the answer is Krishna, then that's a way that our mind can stay absorbed in him. I hope that answered your question, or if it's still unclear, you could let me know.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, it does answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I see something in the chat. Oh, it says, feeling gratitude towards Krishna for everything we have is another way to remain absorbed, from Anne Mataji. Thank you so much. Very true.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You had made a point during your presentation earlier on, which said one of the most important relationships that you could have is with yourself. Could you elaborate that in a little bit more, possibly?
Sure. Thank you for your question. My understanding is that I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, within a body. So I have a body. I'm not this body. I am a spirit soul. And I am a spirit soul within a body living in this material world. And just because of that arrangement, it might bring my attention to my body, where I'm always concerned about my bodily needs and my, relationships with other bodies. However, maintenance of the body is important, very important. We should not neglect that. We have a relationship with ourself, the spirit soul, who is within the body. And there are certain things that spirit soul needs to stay nourished. And those things are, hearing, chanting about the Lord, associating with the Lord's dear friends, the devotees, and having this mindset that this nourishment of the soul is what actually, lights up the body. It actually illuminates the body, the soul does. So if we neglect to maintain that relationship with the self, then actually things start to become dull. We start to feel not so good. We feel disconnected. There's this example of there being a fire. So Krishna's, can be related to a fire. And we are like tiny sparks of the fire. And if one of those sparks jumps out of the fire, then actually that spark is going to quickly diminish and blow out. Similarly, since our true essence as the spirit soul, or is a spirit soul, connected to Krishna, it's very important to make sure that we always do things in our favor, in the soul's favor, to remain connected to our relationship, which is the most important one. I hope that answered your question. Do you have anything you'd like to share on the matter?
No, thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. So it's, in a way you're saying, you have to treat your body, right, and your soul. Sometimes we hear it. We treat our body as a temple, right, so that we can invite Krishna to come in, right, and we can facilitate the ultimate relationship, which is essentially with the Lord. So thank you very much. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I do see another hand being raised. Is that Vraja? Is that old or?
No, that's a new one.
It's me again.
Roger, you're only allowed one question.
Yeah, I'll wait.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just appreciating both points and just going on that again. Sorry, 1 second. And what Anne was saying and what Rupa was saying about the service, and I was going to turn on my camera and be fully attentive, and I could think in that way I'm going to engage my eyes, my sight, and my ears in the service of the Lord. But for some reason I thought, okay, these boys are going to be very hungry, and then when we get off the call, it's going to be all chaos. So I was cooking and listening at the same time. And I have to say that I feel so much more satisfied. And having done that, and I was thinking, as you're speaking, you were inspiring me that this is service, cooking for Krishna. And sometimes, these, and then what Anne was saying about giving gratitude for everything that is, around us, that I have this. And so sometimes the engagement of our senses and our service is not so black and white. We really have to look at these different things, and we can't necessarily do it all at once, all of the time. But throughout the day, you're doing little things and trying to remember. So, and what Anne was saying was, have this gratitude. And when we have gratitude for anything that we have, I'm able to cook, or wow, I could hear this, or whatever it is, and remember that that's an opulence that Krishna gave us. So that's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Vraja. Really nice reflection. Is there anything else that someone would like to share or ask?
I have another question, if I may. It is on a different topic, maybe unrelated, but I'm opening this for the group. So I was reading about the 10 namaprads when we do our chanting. And one of the namaprads is that if someone is not interested in chanting Harinam, and if we try to motivate that person, that is considered as namaprad. So I just wanted to get a little bit more enlightenment, because in the Srimad Bhagavatam there the description is a little short, and I just wanted to hear from experiences that what is that we should follow if someone is not interested and we want to motivate them towards Harina, and if we should or we should take it back.
Thank you so much for your question. From my little realization, what I can say is that we never want to act in a way that will actually brings someone farther from Krishna. So devotees, especially devotees who are outreaching, really have to learn this tactfulness that, yes, actually, we, would love for everyone to chant and read and come, and that's the mood, that's the mission. And we have to be able to know how to do it for each individual. So when it comes to chanting the holy name, and someone may not be ready, if one was to, poke and kind of force, maybe force is a strong word, but push someone towards chanting, and the result actually is that that person feels, overwhelmed, or just, just not ready, just uncomfortable, that they decide to take 10 steps back from Krishna, then that would be a great disservice. That would be, very harmful. And in this way, from my small realization, I could see how that could be considered an offense. Does that make sense?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
You're welcome. Did anyone else have something they could add on that?
I think Surendra Prabhu has his hand up there.
Yes, please.
Like to add to that?
Yeah, question come addition is that it was a very relevant question of chanting your mala. I was immediately reflecting that, of course, recipe is different for your family members and recipe is different for outsiders. We keep that part aside, but because we have to maintain the relationship, that is also it's a separate topic. But in second chapter, I was, there's a verse, I don't remember the verse number, Bhog and Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Prachetasam Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi Samadhana Vidyate. So there are two words, Bhog and Aishwarya. That Aishwarya is actually opulence. And if somebody is not into devotional path, on the devotional path, into devotional service, that is because he's very much prasakt, means he's too much absorbed into his opulences, whatever little bit he has actually. And that is acting as a showstopper for that person. And, it could be a subtle form also. It doesn't have to be, it's like demon. When we say demon, people think that, oh, demon must be 2 teeth out and hands nail big, but we must understand that demon is available or present within devotees itself. You don't have to go out. It's there within the devotees. So similarly here also, that the opulence could be in a very subtle form also, but it acts as a showstopper for us. And it's proved. That's why we are here today taking a bath. And we are not Uttamadhikari, or we are not following the instructions of Uttamadhikari, because I have this all genuine issues basically. We have so many nice justifications. No, wives is also important. I myself is important. I have a health problem. I have this problem. But bottom line is that basically, we are attached to a few things, and that's why we are not 100% surrendered. And another thing is that is the example. First, if we do properly, and then when others will see it's my personal thing, is that on the longer run, people will change. It's my personal, I do not know. But if a person practice, it will change the surrounding environments for sure. That is my personal observation, and I have a very strong faith in that. I do not know if anybody has a different opinion about this, but this is how I feel. So in summary, it is the opulence, or we can add, you can say that material opulence, because whatever opulence we possess, it is nothing but expansion of Krishna, basically. It is a quality by which we attain a little bit of the things, little fame, little money, this, because the quality makes you to, acquire those opulences, earning money or earning education, this and that. And it's Krishna's expansion, basically, as in Srimad Bhagavatam somewhere says in 11th canto. This is all my expansion. And if we kind of use it for our own enjoyment, I personally think that it is creating issues, actually. And there is no stopping to it, whether anything, we can have very lengthy discussion on this, which is not worthwhile, but just a simple explanation I'm giving is that it is a major impediment, actually, in some. So it's a very relevant question for this, that why someone is not able to chant, why someone is not able to give up onion garlic, why someone is not able to give up drinking habits, why person is fully sattvic on a platform of monkey, but he's restless. So why? Because he's attached to the opulence. He wants to enjoy something different than devotional path. Because he's bhog and aishwarya, he's too much attached, prasakta. Bhog means sense gratification in any variety. So I will just stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. If I could just add also, we talk about Krishna consciousness. It's an art of relationships, essentially. And when you connect this to the ninth offense, you can't force a relationship on somebody, right? So if somebody's not there and doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to take it, what are you going to tell them? Like we've seen this so many times, people, proselytizing on the street saying, if you don't take it, you're going to go to hell, right? This is what's going to happen to you if you don't take. You need to take it right now. How is that going to inspire bhakti, right? How is that going to inspire affection, love, a relationship? One of the slogans that Vaisheshika Prabhu says very often, the reason why we go out on the street to distribute books is to leave everybody with a good impression, right? So that is our primary goal, right? Is to leave everybody with a good impression. And along the lines of what Surendra Prabhu is saying, the best impression is an example. If people see, wow, these devotees are out there, they're very determined, right? And they're they have a love, they have a taste for something that's there, even though they may not be ready to give things up, right? Or to join, or to listen to your catchphrase. They're getting an impression, right? This is a samskara. They met a devotee, they received the book, or they received some prasadam. They got a good impression. So this is something that's never going to leave. And I think this analogy could be carried on further because, we have relationships that are maybe more closer. Like we're talking about, doing book distribution and meeting somebody on the street. But, we have people in families that maybe are not interested in Krishna consciousness, so you would say. And you tried to tell them that, oh, this is the only way, this is the best way to do. Why aren't you doing it? You're a demon, right? My family is so demoniac. They're not subscribing to this method, to this beautiful religion that we have over here. Well, certainly that attitude, I don't see how it can win any hearts over, right? If it's done by force. But again, if that family sees, by experience that, wow, this devotee is, just such a shining star, such an example. Their lives is transformed. They're so responsible. They're so loving and caring. They're so broad-minded. Then this, I think this transcends everything. This is bhakti, essentially.
Thank you both for contributing. And I can't wait to attend your Sunday feast lectures, both Surendra Prabhu and Krishna Dulal Das. Looking forward to it. But
thank you so much, Mother Isvari Keshavi. It was really nice, very thought-provoking, very, very inspiring. And you're such an example of this, also of this inspiration. And as are the other devotees, right, in our community, every one of you. So again, thank you all for your wonderful questions. And Mother Isvari Keshavi, we hope to hear from you again soon. We hope to put you on the list as one of our speakers again. So we're very excited for that. And now perhaps the next order on the menu here is we're going to have maybe continued kirtan. Kamalochan Prabhu or Mother Kundalata, would you like to lead us in some kirtan to continue?
Yes, just give us a minute to prepare.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for delay. We just had to figure out something about her one. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Shri Gaura Mataji ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Go.